Welcome back for another episode of The Process, the official breakdown of what's happening, what's working, and what's next for the National Collegiate Entertainers Group. Last week, we locked in on Auditions Week, showed you a little bit about how the artist development process worked, and Georgia State made a bombshell announcement with their I'm So ATL Block Party. This week, auditions start, and we'll be talking to one of KSU's own J activists about his journey as an artist in the NCEG system and what we can expect this year. So let's get into it. We'll start with the scoreboard. Here's where the numbers stand. As expected at Georgia State University, the Panthers are reaping the benefit of their efforts. They're up 15 new members, 22 new followers. Badge count is still at 8, which actually brings their engagement rate down to a little bit over 8%. So at this point, we're looking for KSU to respond. They're up 2 members, 2 followers, and still 2 badges from last week. So the ball is definitely in KSU's court. So we'll turn to the membership breakdown to once again get an idea of these teams' potential strategies. At GSU, the numbers continue to lean heavily towards audio and A&R, and at KSU, their roster is still showing a strong media presence. That might also explain KSU's most recent announcement with regards to their CE auditions. Audition days for the KSU team are Monday, September 8th and Tuesday, September 9th. Kennesaw is planning to host a live stream of their artist auditions, allowing the general public to have a sneak peek behind the curtain. Whereas GSU will be holding their auditions on Thursday, September 11th and into the following week on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, September 15th through the 17th. With that being said, the time is fast approaching, where certified entertainers or CEs will be selected. So if you were interested, this is your moment. Get your performance ready, get it tight, and show up prepared. So now let's do a recap of the event that everybody's been talking about, the I'm So ATL Block Party. GSU's own DJ Wavy H2O definitely held it down, and we had performances from DreTL, Bankroll, and Flippa T. But there were also some surprise pop-up performances from Michael Montana, Shamar, and J activists of the Kennesaw State team. So here to talk about the experience, we'll bring on KSU artist J activist. Jay, how's it going?
I'm good. We here. It's the weekend. Let's do it.
Man, glad to hear about it. So yeah, man, as we were just talking about, like, you were actually there at the I'm So ATL Block Party on GSU's campus. Tell me a little bit about that. What was that like for you?
Indeed. So, I just kind of just popped up. I was with Dre, and it was just cool seeing, like, I think that was one of the first events at State this year on campus, I want to say. So, yeah, it was just cool to see, like, it's a new year, new fall, new semester. Everybody popped out. They brought out all the special guests and stuff like that. I find out 2 minutes before I go on stage and I'm performing, so I was just like, okay, cool, let's make the most of it type of thing. So.
Oh, wow. So you didn't even know that you were going to be performing before going up there?
Nah, I never like to assume, so it just happened.
So I mean, because, of course it's funny, right? We've been talking this whole time, these last few episodes of these last few weeks about the whole, like, GSU, KSU thing, you being one of the artists from Kennesaw that's returning this year, and this being a GSU event. Like, can you kind of, like, map that out for us? Like, how does a KSU artist end up on GSU's Block Party? How did that happen?
I really just feel like it's through, networking and just being hungry. I feel like that's the biggest thing. Like, just finding each and every opportunity to, just connect with people. Because that just happened just from, 3-4 years ago, just coming to the city just to find stuff to do. And then, those people happen to go to Georgia State, happen to just go to, Clark, whatever school, and just making those, connections and friendships and stuff like that. And then once you build those bonds, it's like, now it might be you at a Georgia State and there's an event and you get an opportunity. Now you might be at a Georgia Tech, and just because you was friends or cool with somebody at Tech, now you got that opportunity. So I just say it's just a combination of being hungry and just, going out looking for the things you want.
So, I mean, I completely understand that. We spent a lot of time talking about, like, networking and the importance of it and what that can really mean. And, I think that oftentimes when we get into this, and especially like NCEG, right, and you have the different teams and things like that, your relationship with DreTL, tell us a little bit about that, because he was the one who was performing and you performed during his set, correct?
Yeah, so I originally met Dre around top of 2022 at an NCEG showcase. It was like it was on a rooftop at Georgia State. So there was like maybe two, three artists from each school. And then at that point, I'm like, oh shoot, there's other NCEG chapters. Let me really connect with them and see what they got going on in a sense. So it's like, ever since then, we just been, tapped in. And then, when it came to, just different open mics and stuff like that, like, hey, I'm going to this open mic today. You should pop out. Or vice versa. He going to an open mic this day. Jay, you should pop out. So I'm popping out. We doing that consistently. We getting our practice in, our runs in. Now it's like, okay, now we done built this bond. We done started working on more music. Like, just one of those things that you kind of just cherish and grow through time. So.
Man, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. So, at this point, right, like the semester just started. The recruitment has been kicking off well. Both schools have really been getting a lot of new members showing up, and now we're getting into auditions. So you being one of the, CEs that's returning from previous years, what can you kind of tell, these new artists that are coming in at all the NCEG chapters about that experience? What can they expect during auditions?
So during auditions, you're gonna be scored in 5 different categories. It might be a lot for me to remember all 5 off the top, but basically I would say the important thing with that is, for one, have a performance track. Performance track is gonna be, that separates good to great, having a performance track, because at that point, whoever's scoring you can really hear you. That's the biggest thing. I would also say practice. Practice makes perfect. So anytime somebody sees me on stage performing a record, chances are I've rehearsed that at least 20, 30 times. That way I know certain cues in the record, because each record is different. Each record has a different energy. Each record has a different reaction to the crowd. So at that point, doing those repetitions and getting comfortable with it, now I know, okay, the crowd might react like this to this, or I can script it in my head, introduce this song this way. Now they're tuned into the story before they even hear the beat drop. So I would just say preparation is the biggest thing. Have a performance track, and, also be prepared. Anything can happen during a performance. The mic can go out. The sound system can shut down. The lights could cut off. But at that point, it's like, are you going to stop? You on stage, you got to entertain folks. So it's just like, just being ready for any obstacle that comes up. So I would say those are the biggest things.
Love it. Love it. So I want to say, so let's say, okay, they get through auditions. Mm-hmm. Let's start with, if they make it, they pass auditions, then what? What was that like for you? Okay, you pass auditions, now you're just, doing all of the shows. Like, how does that, what does that actual process look like from an artist perspective?
So I would say, obviously now and 4 years ago is different from when I started, just from a structure standpoint. But I would say, like, if I was coming into NCEG and I just started in 2025, I'm an artist and I just got through CE auditions, I'm picked to be a CE, I feel like now that's when the real work starts. So, like, now I've been, certified by, professionals or people that at least know how to score and know what to look for as far as performance-wise. So now it's like, okay, now that I'm CE status, I have access to different things. So I have access to people that can help me get better at performing. I have access to people that can help me put my project together. I have access to people that can help me market. Now I just have access to resources. So at this point, already having that potential and I have a vision, I combine those two things. I execute my vision now that I have everything I need in front of me.
Love it. So now what about advice to people who might not pass auditions? What about in that particular case? What should they do?
I feel like at that point you should go in the full sponge mode. I feel like you should be in sponge mode anyway, but I feel like at this point, this is when you really just lock in. In my opinion, I would find 1 or 2 people that's kind of in the lane I'm in, and then just really just study everything that they do. And then also, like, see where I can help them. That way they can help me out as well, in a sense. And then just really just, be a student of the game, see what they're doing, see how they got to where they got to, and then just, take those necessary steps.
I love it, man. I really appreciate it. So now, I mean, again, you're still in the game, right? Like, you're still going to be a CE representing the KSU chapter this year. So what do we have looking for from you? What are your plans for this year?
So first and foremost, I'm definitely releasing a project. So I've been working on that, just putting everything together for it, figuring out the marketing, figuring out, the show, the merch, and how to really like monetize off of that. And then, just throughout the year, the biggest thing is just being outside, just being in everybody's face. Like, I feel like that helps out tremendously. When people constantly see you, it makes them want to support you. So really just combination of that, and then plus also on the social media side as well. So I'm going to be running targeted ads. So if you see me in person, you also going to see me on your phone as well, because I'm everywhere. So that's my biggest thing.
Love it. Love it. Okay, Jay. Well, man, thank you so much. Do you have any final words that you would like to say, for any of the viewers, especially like any NCEG members that might be watching this?
I'll say your hunger can take you far. Be curious.
Love it. I love it. Thanks again, man. Well, we'll get back to you.
Appreciate it.
See, Jay is proof that the next generation of artists isn't waiting for permission. They're showing up, they're building, and they're ready to make their mark. So let's recap. GSU is strong on the board and just delivered a major cultural moment with the Block Party. KSU is stacking numbers and giving us voices like Jay activists that remind us why this movement matters. Auditions are officially locked in, and the future faces of each chapter are about to be chosen. This week is about stepping into the spotlight. Don't just watch the process, be a part of the process. And that's a wrap on episode 4. If you haven't locked in your audition spot yet, don't sleep. Make sure you take advantage of this opportunity to get your team organized and build your roster from the ground up. I've been Prez, and this has been The Process, where we turn college creativity into career currency. See you next week.